Alright, I think we're live. Hey yo everybody, I'm Braxton Wise. This is Third Copy Studio, and we're working on Knell. Alright, let's have a look. Ayo woo woo. This got real light. I had to, for some reason, when you do these in the story manager and do like a multi-page comic like what I have here, sometimes if they're, well, I don't know, every time apparently, if you put it, like wherever you put it, it's where it has to stay. If you move it, it won't open, or it won't save. Yeah, it'll save, but then it won't. No, it'll open, but it won't save, which is weird. And then I get tired, and then I just figure out a way to brute force it. So, and because this thing put the folder in the wrong place, I don't know why it did that. Because it certainly wasn't the last place I'd used, but I had expected it to be. And so when I hit enter, I hadn't really looked to see what folder it was going into, so it went into the completely wrong folder, and I couldn't move it, and it was bugging me. It's just, it was bugging me, you know, because then I can't remember where things are. It was in the Slade folder, actually. I haven't even worked on Slade for over a month. 2 months, which is a comic that I haven't worked on that on stream, have I? It was just concepting anyway. So anyway, these are all really light, you see, because that's about as dark as it is. I did bring it down more, but this one is quite low. I had to bring them in. I created a whole separate. Oh god, I hate this when they go in the wrong place. I created an entirely separate project, then I had to export these as PNGs from the other one, import them as PNGs to the new one, and now, you know, we're all kind of starting over again, in a way. Like these panel borders here are just rastered in, whereas the one they were from was its own layer, so I'll have to redo all those too. I took this and copy pasted it down and then changed his position. That's where he's going to sit. We are going to fix this mask. This is similar to how it's going to be. Let's see, what am I doing? I'm going to use blue on this now. Just use some gray thing. It's going to be more like this. Needs to be a little bit smaller. It's fine. I'm not wanting to do anything serious today. I was trying to get a nap, and of course the neighbor's dog was barking yet again. I have already spoken to her about it. About her dog in the past. So now the problem is I was too tired to stop and record the nuisance. Because that's how I handle it. I record it and then report it. I told her it was going to happen. I guess she didn't believe me. So that's the next door lady saga. I hate noisy neighbors. Noisy neighbors who think everyone else is the problem. Everyone else is infringing on their rights. Really? I hate doing it because, you know, it's not the dog's fault. And the city's gonna make her get rid of the dog if there's too many reports. But, you know, I just realized, you know, it's not my fault. She has every ability to make that stop. If that happens, then that's on her. She's the one who should be sorry to the dog. Not anybody else. We've got a lot of cool references from Nyx. He lives in New Jersey. I think he still works in New York. Very cool cityscape pictures. Man, I really hope this works out. I hope people like this when I post it, because I really like this, and I don't want to be disheartened and give up on something that I like so much. So it'd be good to get some good responses when we finally publish this. I need some affirmation. This is just the street stuff, like buildings and stuff. Okay, this is a really wide bus though. Buses in real life apparently aren't this wide, as I have discovered. Where's my reference folder? There's some very cool ones in here. We've got I don't know if he's a hobo, but he's laying on his back on the corner. So that's awesome. I love that. Oh, look at that. With one of those water towers on that little building. And you get to see how, like in real life, you know, how these things move like this, you know, like how the perspective on these buildings changes. Just, I mean, from his camera, you can see how they kind of arch over, but not, they kind of like close in above you, you know. So they kind of angle inward in a sort of a triangle shape, which really does, I mean, sure it's the lens and stuff too, that really does kind of make it feel more like it's looming when these things kind of leaning in above us like that, which I like that. And I'll have to kind of add that in when I'm doing really tall buildings. Yeah, these are very common, like in old city type areas. I'm sure they don't do that anymore. I don't know if these are probably defunct. Maybe not. I don't know how that infrastructure is handled now. But if you ever see any movies on the New York rooftops, you'll see stuff like that. Those old wooden, these are wooden, I think, too. Wooden water towers. Maybe they're tin, copper, something like that. Nyx would know. I don't live in cities like this. I live next to one. Like, I mean, downtown looks kind of like this. Downtown KC is kind of like this, but we have a lot of older buildings that look like this one. We got some tall modern ones, but it's not as excessive as that. It's not like that. There was one in here that really reminded me of downtown KC, like here. This is a lot of what downtown would look like, my downtown. Much older buildings. Actually, much more beautiful buildings than the new stuff. These are amazing. I love just pictures of, this is called like what? This is like genre. Genre? You know, like works of like normal everyday people. They just call it genre. I don't know why, but it is. Like slice of life stuff. They make all that look good. I bet it all tastes like crap. I probably gained 3 pounds just by eating one of these. I'm not in Italian sausage. I don't like whatever that is. Isn't it fennel? Or something that they put in that? It gives that kind of licorice taste. This is neat. And we have a lot of like wall art too. This is very cool though. Department of Corrections, New York. Oh, look at that. A giant gummy bear thing, but right here in front of the Department of Corrections. New York, New York. There you go, baby. I like these sculptures. I'm not usually a fan of like the weirdo art that they sometimes put outside of places. I'm not into abstract as a fine art. But you know, abstract is great as a tool for play and for discovery. But I just don't consider it a fine art. That's my side of it though. It doesn't mean it isn't. I just don't think of it that way. So I love these. And I especially like the playful sort of children's toy look of it, right? Especially this old-timey, like that's like an old like 20s, 30s style spaceship. This is like Flash Gordon style, like old school Flash Gordon from like the 30s, 40s. Plymouth has a metal pigeon and a character from a local artist. Oh yeah. That sounds awesome. I want to see that though. I love things like that. See, this is perfect, because this is just not even staged. This is pure genre right here. Whatever this is, like they're delivering or dumping stuff off. Oh yeah, they're picking stuff up, I guess. Reclaimed organics. These are just beautiful. The wall art is awesome. All this is just neat. I always thought it'd be cool to live in New York, but I'm not equipped. I can't handle being that close to people all the time. I would live in a suburb like how I do here. It's just that Kansas City is so large that we have both suburban areas and, you know, a downtown kind of area like this. So I'm still in the main city, but I'm not far enough downtown to have this. My life is more suburban, even though it's not a suburb. You know what I mean? It's not really a pigeon. Oh, I see. It's a... Oh, it's supposed to be a dove. You're just... That's just the local... You're just trashing it like the other locals, right? You know, just calling it a pigeon or something. Just to be... No... Hold on. It's a pigeon. Oh, it's shiny. Is it shiny? I'm looking at what I think is shiny here. There's a Plymouth piece of... It's not bad. I don't know if it looks like a dove. It's not super abstract. Oh, made by employees. Okay. See, now that's cool. I like that at least. Like made by everyday people. Oh, my preview was freaking me out. I'm like, wait a minute. I just had to catch up. If you tab out, it will instantly, like stop giving you a live feed. And that's what I had done. Yeah, this one looks a lot like downtown KC. That's what my city looks like, pretty much. And that's also what my city looks like very often, in the downtown area. I also love the construction. I just like the regular, raw, everyday stuff. Oh, and here's a cool story. Oh, this is going to be in the, this is going to be in Knell. The first episode, actually. The first thing. So, hold on. Let's go back to this one. There's a very cool story that's going to end up in Knell. And this came straight from Next. Well, I can't remember if it was Plymouth or somewhere else. But there's also a statue made of knives received during an amnesty. Really? Hold on, let's have a look at that. I'm not into working too hard today. So we're just gonna have a look at a couple of things. You know what? That's kind of badass. It's made of knives, dude. The only thing that would make it cooler is if it was made out of skulls. So, that's very metal. Knife Angel. Oh my god, that's awesome. Knife Angel. That sounds like a freaking band name, right? A skull statue would be incredibly awesome. I'm gonna see if I can do a drawing of a skull. Oh yeah, let's see if I can make like a sculpture. And I mean draw a sculpture made out of skulls. Maybe that'll be the center of the city. So here's how this works. Here's how Knell works. Okay. There's two cities. They're separated by a bay. One side is called Banshee Bay City, and then there's Banshee Bay. The bay is Banshee Bay, and then there is Nirvana Falls. Okay, these are based off of band names, and so Nirvana Falls is basically going to be like Manhattan. You know, like where Spider-Man hangs out and all that, kind of as a nod to comic tropes, and then Banshee Bay is like New Jersey, right? And they're just right across from each other. So Knell has to take a ferry because he lives in Banshee Bay, and he has to come across the bay into Nirvana Falls every day. So there's going to be different ways that he ferries across or gets ferried across. I need to design the city like a central area, since he has to go into the city a lot. That's where his boss is. That's where his boss is. Let's move this over. And it's, hold on. There we go. That's where these come into play. Alright, so this building here. It's really tall one. I think it's this one specifically, not the one it's connected to. Now, this is unfinished. Okay. See if we can do this without jogging it up too much there. Okay, so this part is unfinished. They're not really going to do anything with this because this entire thing, man, the whole thing, every floor, I think it's this one, every floor is 1 inch to the left. Okay. They made a mistake on this, and every floor is like 1 inch too low on one side. So they're all just very slightly slanting. Very, very, very slightly. By an inch. And you think that's fine, you know? Right? It's just an inch, you won't even feel that. You'd be alright. The problem is, that because of that, this building can't have a working elevator or escalator. Yeah, elevator, because it has to be straight shot. It can't be slightly leaning, or the floors can't be tilted. So that you have to walk all the way up into it if you were to use this for anything. So, and it costs too much to tear down. You can't fix it unless you tear it down first. You can't just lift every floor. You'd have to just tear it all down. And how would you even do that? It would be insane. So it just has to sit there. It's been there for like a decade, I think. That's what Nick tells me. And they're just going to leave it. They're just going to leave it. Mr. Player, it is good to see you. We were just talking about this insane building. This is where Nell's boss is. Okay? Is in this building. And Knell has to go here and walk up these stairs to get up into it. Of course, that's a little bit nonsensical, but still, yeah, that's what happens. But the building was cheap. His boss got it really cheap. He was, because of the mistake. It's unfixable. So he got this really cheap, and he's opened up this business in it, this publishing company, and that's where Knell's employer is in this building. That's why he has to walk up the steps all the time. I hope everyone's doing well. We're looking at New York. You see again, like how I'm saying, they go triangular above you. This is very good 3-point perspective, just natural. See, yeah, I mean, you could do that. Why don't they do that? Look, I was telling everybody the story. This is the one, right? That middle one. Which side is the low side, though? It's like you said, the left. So I'm wondering if it's out this way, that way to the left, or this way to the left. I don't know if I can draw that specifically. This will have to be a vague shape. I want it to be recognizable too. I want a lot of these things to be recognizable, like, so people can be like, hey, I know that building. Left being left in the photo. Okay. So it's like this edge. Maybe his boss, the publishing company, is way up here. I don't know why it would have to be all. I mean, it could just be down here. I mean, I'm sure the mistake is. It couldn't be the entire thing, could it? Isn't it just like the extended part? I don't know. But that's where the publishing company is. It's way up there, and Knell has to go up there, and he has to use the stairs. This looks a lot like downtown KC. That style of building. Very, very common, these ornate old buildings. And then we have some modern stuff. These things are way more, but this is still very similar. I like these. Who is I know this dude. Is that Bert Wolf? He's like Bert Wolf. Isn't that what the dude's name is? I don't know. I don't watch cooking stuff anymore. Okay, no problem. We'll be working on this stuff in a minute. I was backing up. There we go. This is going to be in this. Will it be in this issue or the next issue? I guess it does. It's going to be in his first job. publishing company, they make how-to books. And that's what Knell's job is. He has to write a how-to book, research it, and write it. And so he has to do all these things and research them. So he will, this boat will be part of it. What will be like cabin boy? Something like that. That'll be his first job. Well, he has to visit a temp agency so he can get these different jobs. And in this is what is it called? It's a windjammer. And this is going to be Knell's first ferry across the bay. I have to also figure out how to draw Nixt. Draw his character. They're going to be sketchy for a while. Man, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. Alright. We don't need these yet, but we're just going through them. Showing you guys the cool photo haul that I got from Nixt. So, huge thanks. I love all of these. I've got Knell in the bus. And I'm not sure about this. Where did I put the other photos? I think the bus photos are elsewhere. Because I know he sent bus pics. I'm sure I downloaded them to something. I've changed their heads to where they're kind of tracking. I'll just drop this down into the same layer. Okay, this is another silhouette in the background. I could do another silhouette here. Alright, I'll just drop these down. Onto the rough. Yeah, the bus is just gigantic. I really should narrow this, but I don't really. It would make these really quite small. That's kind of the problem. But again, going back to an earlier point that Woo Woo was making, that it is more like his point of view, so maybe it feels cavernous to him. I'm wondering how I do want to bring these in, because I know that It wouldn't feel like that to me. To me, it would feel quite claustrophobic. I don't like people being near me. So it would actually feel tighter. It does bother me because conceptually it still doesn't work. It doesn't work for me because I would not see it this way, so Knell would not see it this way. It would not feel vast and cavernous. To me, it would feel endless and narrow. And the ones that I've seen now, Nix did give me some pictures. I must have them in another folder. Right. Maybe I didn't download those. That's a possibility too. No matter where you are on the bus, it feels like everyone's... Yes! That's the thing. That is the thing. I mean, that's exactly right. That's how it would feel to me. And everyone is touching you. Like, it's very enclosed. Where is this? Look, it's kind of driving me crazy now. I'm pretty sure that Nix did some photos and I just somehow flaked on downloading them because they're not in the normal spot that I put them. Let's go to his server. There they are. Did I not download this one? Yeah, it was just the one. Okay. He mentioned this looked like a 70s commuter bus, and again, it was... the bus was probably a 70s bus, the one that I was in, when I was in like a kind of long distance bus. But it certainly wasn't this wide. Okay. Where's this picture? You'll see the huge difference. Look at this. This is the way it's supposed to look. This is how it's meant to look. This one, the bus one. That's what I was looking for. How am I going to enclose it like that? Because it's really, the way I drew it, it would be quite narrow, and I don't think it would take up the entire width of the page either. A Cappy bus? I don't know what that is. I don't... Oh, crappy. Okay. That's a crappy bus. I guess mine... I did a luxury commuter bus. Then. I still want to bring these in, though. I need it to feel more claustrophobic to him. That's how he would be feeling it. I just don't know how I'm going to accomplish that. I've got the drawing basically what I want, where I want it. I changed their heads here. Although I wanted everyone to turn around and look at him because I know he would also feel like he was being stared at by every human being on the bus, right? I don't like that tangent. Like that, it'll be fine. I could fade that out a little bit, or just not draw it. You know, just like an indication of it instead of meeting his face with the edge of that window. Leave kind of like a broken line right there. So how will I move this inward? I do need to turn more heads. It's just turning heads is difficult. It took me a while just to turn these two heads. I gotta turn her head and him. Well, the thing is that he's basically almost looking straight at us. He needs to be in profile. This person needs to also wake up. Well, they're reading a book. They need to also turn and look at him. So this is going to take a while to redo this one, I think. And we'll work on this a little bit today. Trying to draw these heads better. Or completing the head turns. Let's see. I still want to fix this problem. Like, could I move these inward more? Well, the world could accommodate that, but it wouldn't. It would have to be a specific thing. It'd have to be like in Easter egg form, you know, or maybe like in his house. Like maybe Knell, because we're gonna go to Knell's house too, because he has, you know, it's not just his job, where he goes and does all these other things. It's not about just his job. It's about his interaction with the world. So it's also when he's at home. We're gonna go to his house. We're gonna see what his house looks like. We're gonna talk to his neighbors. He's gonna have neighbors that he hates. Well, one of them, I think, no, is Nick's gonna be? I think Nick's is one of his neighbors, so that's gonna be okay. But then he's gonna have like other neighbors that he hates. Because there's struggles. He's got neighbor struggles, right? Am I now? I'm. Of course not. Preposterous. We're just very good friends. I do all those things. Look, I have said before that Knell is very much kind of like how I view the world. Okay. How do I do this? Like I'm trying to think of how to not redraw it specifically, but how to cut in here. And warp this in a way that feels claustrophobic. Brax just photographs now. That's right. I know him, and I take pictures of him. That's how, because I know he calls me up. He's like, I'm gonna be here. You take photos, because we're buds. We're bros. That's how I know where he's going to be. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some Spider-Man references. Okay. I'm going to get into a spot where I won't be able to back up, I think. Yeah, this doesn't work. Oh my god, I don't want to redraw all this, but I think I'm going to have to. Yeah, the only way to do it is like that. Man, am I gonna have to redraw all this? Okay, so here is basically a mock-up of what I would have to do, I think, to at least bring this in a little more. But then these are going to have a very narrow border. I mean, it's going to be very narrow in the middle of the page. That's very strange. And I won't be able to do this in the way that I did before. This kind of inset panel thing. Man, not after all the freaking work. It's fine. If you're not willing to erase it all and redraw, then you have no business being a comic artist. Okay. So I think that's going to be the way this is going to be. This is at least closer. Let's grab him out. And this will be the example for above. All this crazy mess. Okay, so be like that. Also, you know what? I'd love to put him on another layer. We probably should do that, shouldn't we? How do we do that? Whatever. I hate that. I just cannot stand that. I hate that it does it this way. It never puts it on the layer you want it to be on either. Why doesn't it just paste on a layer I select? Why is there some need to brute force that onto a new layer? It makes no sense at all. Clip Studio has a lot of good ideas, and then they have a lot of really, really terrible ideas. Okay, clear away some of this. This is gonna get wrecked. It still isn't the way I want it. I feel like I'm really gonna have to completely draw this from scratch. I'm racking my brain figuring out how I'm gonna avoid that, but I don't think I can avoid that. Okay, well, this is terrible on multiple levels. If I bring this frame further out to the edge. Steering wheel here. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I'm fighting with the issue of how narrow this is going to be and how it's not going to fill up the page the way I want it to. So then I don't know what else to put in as filler or how to vignette this so it doesn't look stupid. Because it's still not the way it should be. This should be much more narrow. Right, this should be out to here. Man, this is such a mess. Alright. This has to be out to here. You know, that's where the center will be. That means that these have to change too. Yeah, it's not like this. Yeah, this all has to be changed, I think. All of it. Yeah, that doesn't work. And it's all gonna have to be redrawn. It's gonna make me crazy. This is all incredibly messed up now. I still don't think this is gonna work. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. Well, I guess we just trash it. It's already overworked and completely ruined anyway. Yuck. Well, that's disappointing. Man. Crap. Well, guess this one's fine. We'll just... just delete it. Goodbye, all of it. I have to resketch everything. Just kill that one too. Delete all the layers. Might as well just start completely from scratch. And do this on a second layer in case I screw this one up too. Right, it's gotta be narrow. Man, I don't want to have to struggle with that stupid ruler tool. This is why I avoid using these things, because this thing is horrifying to use. I cannot stand this ruler thing. Like, it makes no sense. And immediately I hate my life. Just right away. Already it makes me hate my life. Just even looking at this thing. Ugh, you touch it and it just rewards you by becoming the most complex thing on earth. I just can't understand how this is supposed to work. I'll just trash it. Just delete it now. Delete the whole freaking layer, man. The struggle continues. I really hate these tools. I wish that they would make it less crappy. I don't know how they do that, but certainly not like whatever this mess is. Because it's pretty bad. So we just have to do it some other way. thing is, this is going to be really narrow, and I don't know what else to put in here. How do I show an entire bus, a narrow bus interior, and yet take up the whole width of the page? That's my struggle. Because this is going to be, let's see, if that's the vanishing point, we'll say this is the box, just roughly in thirds, and here, we'll just do it this way. We'll just use this little smart shape thing. I think that's what they call it. Like that. Who needs stupid perspective rulers? Okay, so then that means this has to be the bus, it's sort of arching. That's where the door is down here. It's got to seem huge and cavernous. Also, let's not do this on the same layer. I could do that, but then I want them to be taller. So what if we did, here, we'll do it like this. This is how I'm going to get past using that stupid ruler tool. I'll use the smart thing. Perspective. Hopefully I spelled that right, my mouse is in the way. And we'll just set up the lines on here. They're not movable, but that makes it much less complicated. Not less, much less. Okay, so we did another one where we split instead, like this, and but is that too narrow? Right, like, let's pick something like this. The gutter would be about there. So then that means it'd be like this. That's the back of the bus. And then let's see. Yeah, they get dramatically smaller as we go back, wouldn't they? Because if that's the seat height, it just comes straight in across this way. Because then that would be eye line. Yeah, that'd be horizon line, I mean. Just dig some of this out back here. Once you zoom in, you're like, oh my god, look how sketchy this crap was. We wouldn't even have to do any seats. It'd be really quite enclosed because everyone's just really covering up everything. There's be the steps. Well, they go like this. These aren't steps, Braxton. Something like that. And then the door would be right about here. Well, look, Knell doesn't hate all of his neighbors. There is one that he likes. Which also, shockingly, is similar to my own situation. I only like one of my neighbors. It's awful, awful lines, Braxton. You should go to prison for this. There should be a law against being this bad. Fortunately for me, there is not. Or I'd be in prison. Like debtor's prison, except bad artist prison. It's where they put Rob Liefeld for his Captain America poster. What was an ad? It wasn't that bad. It was actually an honest mistake. But people like to scream and cry and rag all the time, so that's their current fodder, hate fodder. I love Rob Liefeld, actually. So that's just good-hearted ribbing. I think he's an awesome guy. He's got a channel that I follow, I watch. Okay, so is that how that's gonna be? Does that look weird on the panel? Yeah, this is more how he'd be feeling it. Just kind of endless and looming and packed with people he doesn't want to be near. I'll have to be more accurate with these things. This is just a rough, of course. Now, if I do this... Now the driver would be here, right? And then we don't get to see the New York hat. And of course I erased all of the driver in a fit of rage. So I have to remake him. Someone's always got some stanky take on everybody's really. See, that's the thing, like, you also live in a very sort of congested city like this. You know a lot about this kind of stuff. I actively stay away from this kind of stuff. Are we really just gonna do this freaky half profile on him? I liked being able to show more of the driver, though. I liked that. I liked it. What's up, Lucid? Welcome in. We're working on a comic. Okay, I guess that's the bus driver. I don't know how. No, look, it needs to be. He needs to be bigger. Like that, maybe. I don't know. I've completely erased a lot of this. Well, I've completely erased all of it. Completely and a lot. It doesn't... I'm not using the right words today. We're getting kind of fisheye on him now. Here's the wheel, I guess. I suppose here's the wheel. I suppose the driver extends out past everybody, maybe? Probably not. It's all very, very narrow in here. If I did this, that's how this would look. We're just doing a quick mock-up before I commit to this. See, it's gonna make this pattern, and I don't know if that looks cool or not. That's what I'm trying to test out right now. Get some of the scrubbiness out of here. Of course, it puts it on the other layer. I hate that it creates a new layer for all this. It just really, really bugs me. I wish they would just kill that feature. Just send it to hell where it belongs. Okay. If I take off that perspective and we'll do just sort of right in the middle. Sort of. Like that. What do we think of that? It looks narrow enough. And we do get both in there. Also, this is just a. This is of this character. This is the character. His name is Knell. Apparently he's short and he hates his neighbors. His life parallels mine in many ways. Inexplicably. Yeah. She was taking up too much space, crowding him out. So these birds came by and pulled her off the bench. It needs more birds though. But this is the irritated lady right there on the ground as he walks up onto the bus. I should darken that. I don't like that it's still that light. He's wearing a mask. That's the strap that holds it on. I think his neck is too long. The itinerary for me today is to finish reading The Walking Dead comic, or the compendium. Because I have a new comic. Well, I have several of the compendiums, but I was just working my way through the first one. I wasn't going to read them through like all in one shot. But I have recently acquired a copy of JTHM, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and I'm very, very excited. I really want to read that. Darn it. It's too big of a curve. Oh, almost. Here, we'll just do it this way. We'll just let the smart shape cheat it a little bit. Oh yeah, and there's a spin-off called Squee, which I also have. I got him in a set. This dude's head is gigantic. But that's because he's leaning forward, right? Do some dot eyes. As if I do anything else. She's wearing a tracksuit. That's what I was trying to say before. It wasn't sweats, it was a tracksuit I was trying to put on her. Okay. Angry bus driver. With this New York hat on. I don't know why I keep calling it that. Boy, this is just the worst. We could just make him deliberately funky if we want to, I suppose. I'm just making it worse. Gigantic head. Okay, so it's just killing me. But he is leaning toward us, so it would be larger. It would just be sort of looming at us. You know? No, that's after he gets after he crosses the bay into Nirvana Falls, and then he gets on the bus to get to the building. Right, yeah, because he lives in Banshee Bay. And you're gonna be the only neighbor that he likes. You live right across the street from him. So I don't know if this tangent works for me. Also, I have to figure out how to draw you. Try not to be offended if it sucks. It's gonna have to be like my standard, like generic skinny guy with glasses. Like when I drew Hefe. I drew him inside when I was doing the Godzilla posters, the Mecha Godzilla thing. I drew Hefe inside of one of those Godzilla costumes. Of course, I lost the original. I drew like a see-through cutaway of Hefe inside the costume. In the Godzilla costume. Okay. So, what do I think of this? Does this look weird to anybody? The tangent where these the face lines are just hitting right there halfway. Hold on, where's my pen? If the driver's too far over, it's gonna be. Do you have a New York hat? Is there like a Philadelphia hat? I need that pen looks weird. I still feel like it's too patterned. Like the pattern repeats across and it just looks weird. Like I'm literally just dealing with the tangent at the moment. The hats would obscure my tropical fish colored hair. Oh yeah, there's gonna be. The problem is, if I add a 100 player character, I wouldn't be able to show the beautiful hair color. Because it's going to be in black and white. I guess this is the steering wheel, isn't it? Yes, it's the steering wheel. I don't know how we're gonna make this work. Yeah, I feel like if we moved him further out, then like the bus drivers don't sit out farther than the people, right? I'm pretty sure they don't. So what if I offset these slightly? I don't think I'm tough enough to survive in the Knelliverse, so I'd be out of place. It is a rough place sometimes. Alright, this again, I'm just drawing in stuff for no reason. Darn it, it's killing me. I hate having these things on one freaking layer, on two different layers, just drop down to the other layer. There. Because every time I want to move from one side to the other, I'm constantly on the wrong layer. keep thinking, why doesn't this erase? Okay, this is all terrible, but something like that. Okay. So, what if I don't know, I feel like this needs to be offset. If I take one, if I offset them like that, no, it would still suck. Maybe we just have to do it this way. Thinking I could offset it like that, so I'd have like a stair step effect. But I just don't think that that's the right way to go about it. No, it's still gonna look weird. There. This is the right vibe. This is the right shape. This is what it would look like, what it should look like to him. I'm just not liking the face touching into these areas. Now over here I can finish it out. Like that, but it's not going to help on this other side, right? This hat, man. Yeah, because we only get to do that over here. Okay, how about this? What if... Okay, there's nothing on there. Let's get rid of that so I don't get confused, because you know how I am. Oh yeah, that'll have to get taken care of, or I'll lose my mind over this one too. Okay, better. All right, I have an idea. What if... Damn it! Stop tricking me. There. Okay, what if okay, so Knell gets up, excuse me, and the driver leans out, right? How does he lean out? We do a... I mean, they don't do it with those reachy things anymore, do they? You know, you have that hand lever. They don't do those anymore, do they? They must have like an electronic, like a button they press or something. But he doesn't. He doesn't have a button. Right? No button. Okay, this will be his front. It's all electronic. Well, this one has to have... The idea won't work. It's all electronic. I have to... Because in this one, I've got enough space where I could keep his head mostly in the active zone right here. And keep the important stuff away from the trim line. But this one, I can't extend out into it like this, because it's gonna look freaky. So yeah, I have to do that. I have to do that. But here's how, because look, I still have like, my memories were of a school bus and a very old, like, 70s style bus, like a long distance bus, and that was kind of a chunky bus. Not as chunky as what I was drawing, but still. So what I want to do with him is have him reach out. You see, you have to reach out to get this lever, and let's do this in red so I can see. You have to reach out or lean out, and there's like a... Isn't there like a lever up here? How do I get him to lean out? Like this? Lean over this way? That's the hat. How does that work? We're gonna see this thing. That's his wrist. His waist. He just kind of truncated. Why is all this on this one layer? Why is it all on this one layer? Alright, never mind. I'll have to redo all that. This should not be on this layer. Did it delete a layer? Apparently. Stupid things happen. It costs more time. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm like. That's what we get yelled at by the bus driver over stuff like that. Because they have to lean out and wait for us to get on the bus. You know? Yeah, it's got to be an old style bus. How do we do that? Make sure we're on the right layer this time. What do those levers even look like? It's up by them, isn't it? It's some weird mechanism. I have to look it up. At least, just to see an indication. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is what I want. This. These things. Because this is my only experience on buses. I want this. Oh, it's like a rotating. That's right. Okay, so which side does that sit on? So it goes in. We have to fake this out somehow. I want to see it from the bus driver's perspective. Okay. I'm still not getting. I need to see it from backwards, but I don't know. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Like some electric one or something. It's probably what actually, yeah. They'd have to lean into them. You know? Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can fake this a little bit. And we'll go real stylized on it. Where's your thumb at? Where'd I put your thumb? On your skeletal arm. It's kind of a rounded dealy. And then it's got like a linkage. Maybe it's like this. And then there's a linkage. Something like this. Here, let's make it a more obvious linkage. Something like this, and it'll just fade out. It'll vignette a little bit. Yeah. And this needs to be sort of offset. Yeah, it needs to be this huge, complicated lever. It has to be. The Knelliverse has a lot of analog stuff. Knell likes analog. That needs to be up here. Of course, he is looming at us a little bit. It's difficult to see past one and try and draw different things. This is what I didn't like about animation. Either that or he could be looking at him instead. Yeah, no. Yeah. That's how we get his head in there. Let's scrub out some of that head a little bit, and then we can see a little bit more of what we're doing. Clear out the visual noise. Yeah, that's how that's gonna work, I think. So that at least leans him over. And we've got this weird cylindrical device. Right. This actually needs to be over. I hate layers. They're necessary sometimes, but I also just completely hate them. It's a constant frustration. Like now. Every time I see something I want to change, well, what I have to do is this, which is what I don't want to do. Is to make it work on all layers. And I don't want to do that because then that messes things up. But it, you know, it's always a constant battle. Stay there and stop drawing on the wrong layer. Right, it's gonna be something like this. I don't know how to make the rest of that look, but that's how it's gonna happen, I think. And then Knell will be should we have him walking up in here, like taking a step? Or should he just be standing in here? He could just be standing in here. It'd be a little bit easier. Because otherwise he'd be taking a step and like one foot would be here, where the other one will be up here. It'd be crossing over all this. Yeah, maybe crossed over into his hand. So, no. We'll have him already here. Or it could just be this scene waiting for Knell to get in the bus. I don't know. I kind of want to see him standing here. Oh, he's gonna be so much more tall. So much taller, I mean. Right, and then that's about where he'd be. Maybe taller. And then he has to be way down here. Right. Yeah, be about chest high to the seats. Standing up. Yeah. And then we have to redraw those other people. I guess we won't see see them in pairs though. These would be pretty narrow. And they also have these poles that go like holding poles, things you hold on to and just, I don't know. Are you supposed to stand up on one of these things? Oh yeah, because that's the areas that are sideways, isn't it? They got like sideways seats too. And there's like another thing that goes across and these like hook into the pipe. Like that, maybe? Because I don't know if we'll do all that, but gotta at least have, we'll put some heads in the seats here before we end it for the day. Well, it was kind of a reverse progress, anti-progress stream today, but it still was good because I did need to make a change. It wasn't working the other way. And everyone's turning their heads to look at him. Okay, same thing. We just have some of that back here. We would have like head silhouettes. We don't have to draw people. This could be better. Yeah, that could be better. I think this is a better arrangement. So it was kind of, there was progress in the way that we hammered out the way this panel was going to look. I think this works better, and I think this is the only way I can get this to work. So, yeah, I'll have to spend some time drawing this cleanly, like getting all these things more precise, getting the window put in there, or the frame put in, and dividing this up better, because that should be more like right there. And I'll be more careful with the perspective lines and yeah. Many innocent bus passengers' faces were lost in the great layer apocalypse of 26. It kind of feels like that. It felt like an apocalypse. But I need to get over the fact that I hate redrawing stuff. And I have to just make myself do it. Okay, I think this is solid. So we just did a little bit of layout, that's it. I will work on redrawing this, maybe not tonight. I'll probably do that in tomorrow's stream. It'll just still be working on this panel. Everything else looks okay. I don't really need, because I'm fine with everything else. this is where we start the dialogue, which scares the crap out of me because the dialogue tool is also incredibly terrible to deal with. Incredibly terrible. The most incredibly terrible tool ever. It's very confusing. Of course, the bus drives off. You know what? What if we do the bus taking off down this way? How do we do that? What if we did like a window? I have the safety door. What if we have Knell in the window flipping her off? As he's like, because he flips her off when he comes up here and he kicks her in the side. Right? And then as the bus is driving away, we could put the back of it back here and have him, you know, in the window flipping her off. That's the middle finger. While she's getting angry. Yeah. Okay. Does that make this NSFW if people are getting flipped off? I mean, is this, yeah, or is this safe for work? Would you let your kids watch this? No, you need to have your head checked if you're letting your child watch this insanity. It'll mess them up for life. Yeah, so what if we do something like that? That's gonna be difficult to draw too. I'll have to bring this back. I'll like erase all this stuff and bring this back and make it much larger. I learned how to make rude gestures from Brax Wise. Man. The kiss of death. They would have my stream down in a heartbeat. Teaching rude gestures. Parental vigilante justice. Okay. Alright, I guess that's it for this one. Save. I don't know why it requires a save after opening these things, but for some insane reason, it does. Okay. Yep. That's the next game plan. Alright, I want everyone to have a really great day. Remember, mind your manners, respect your elders, brush your teeth every day, 3 times a day. And eat 3 to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. I'm out. I'll be back tomorrow.